how to attract more customers to your business. Okay. Now, whether you are just starting out or you've been running your business for a while, I believe this is going to be very beneficial to you. What I'm going to dive into today has not only been something that I've been able to use to start and scale many businesses since 2020, but I've taught this concept to probably over 1,000 people at this point. And so I promise you guys, like my promise to you is as long as you take notes and you implement this, I believe you could get some really cool results here. So I just wanted to share my screen for this part, and then I will share my screen some more in a little bit if I need to. But what I want to go over today is four different objectives, okay? Four different objectives if you're taking notes. Number one is I want to go over what marketing is, okay? Secondly, I want to go over the difference between earned, paid, and owned, okay? Three is I'm going to give you a high level overview of my marketing system. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a Q&A. Does that sound good to anyone? Let me know in the chat. And I want to keep it interactive. If you guys can too, put on your cameras. That would be great unless you're driving or something. But I really want this to be interactive. I want to know that you guys are receiving from this. And let's get right into it. So number one is what is marketing, right? And at the end of the day, all marketing is getting somebody's attention, right? You could have the best restaurant in the world, but if it's in the middle of the desert and nobody knows about it, guess what? You don't have a business. So all marketing really is getting someone's attention, right? How can you get someone to be aware that your product or service that you are offering actually exists? Now, in previous KBFs, we talked about the core five, core four framework. We talked about mindset. We talked about offers. We talked about all that stuff. Today is all about now that you have an offer, right? Or you have an idea on what you do want to offer. How do we get eyeballs, right? How do we get attention? How do we get people seeing what it is we're offering? Okay. And so that's what marketing is. It's all about getting attention right now. Many business owners are actually really good at what they do. I meet people every day that are pretty good at what they do, but that's not good enough, right? You could be the best car detailer, the best plumber, the best automotive shop. I mean, I know an automotive shop that Pastor Tony recommends a lot of people to. They're really good, but I don't know how much money they're making, but if they understood marketing and systems, they could be a franchise, right? They could be, as big as Tire Kingdom or, Jiffy Lube or Valvoline oil changes, right? Like you could become as big as you want to, but the first part of becoming big is getting your marketing dialed in so that people actually know that you exist, okay? Now, when it comes to marketing, there's really three M's. I want you to write this down. Message, market, and media. Okay, those are the three M's of marketing. Okay, now the first part of this, I'm going to break it down into parts. Part one is all about the message. Okay, the messaging, right? What are you saying, right? When it comes to your marketing, what are you saying? And this is where a lot of people fail because I heard one guy call it the Messiah complex, okay, which is an interesting way to put it. But essentially, the way he explains it is when it comes to marketing, like, let me prove this to you. How many of you in here feel like the world needs your product or service? Be honest, it's okay. I used to, think that everyone needed what I had to offer, which there is truth there for sure. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, Nancy said everyone needs a vacation, right? We all believe that every single person on earth needs our product, right? Like, even my marketing system, I believe any business could use it. Plumbers, electricians, real estate agents, the list goes on, right? However, the guy said he calls it the Messiah complex because people get in their mind that they want to launch a business and everyone needs their product day one, right? And if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down. Many people overestimate what could be done in 1 year, but they underestimate what could be done in 10 years. Pastor Travis, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is sometimes people want success so quick, and when they don't see it happening quick enough, that's where they jump from thing to thing. They have shiny object syndrome, right? 6 months goes by, they're working a business, and then they shut that one down. They go and start another one because they didn't get results as quickly as they wanted to. Next thing you know, some people 20, 30, even 40 years have gone by, and they're still chasing the next big thing, right? They're chasing the next business to get into. The reality is there's successful people in any business and in every field, right? How many of you on here believe that there are people who are successful in real estate, successful in plumbing, successful in electrical, successful in carpentry, successful being a lawyer, right? I believe we all could agree that every single field there could be a millionaire. Okay. But if in every field there could be a millionaire, when you look at statistics, the reality is most people aren't. In fact, 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And they say out of the 5% that succeed in another 5 years, 95% of those fail, right? And I believe the reason why most businesses fail is because they didn't implement the right processes, the right systems, and stick with it long enough to see if it would actually work, right? It's kind of like some of you have seen this picture online before where there's this guy, he's digging after treasure, and just when he's about to get it, right? Just when he is about to get the treasure, he turns around. And I think to myself, how many entrepreneurs do that? How many business owners are right there, just about to break through, and they give up and they jump into something else? I see it all the time, right? The reality is there are cash registers ringing as we speak around the world. Money is exchanging hands, billions and billions and trillions of dollars as I am holding the KBF Zoom call today for River Church Baltimore. Money is exchanging hands, right? And in order for you to participate in that, not only do you need a great product or service you're offering, but you have to know how to get attention. Okay. And this is where the majority of people fail. They get in the mindset, everyone needs my product. I need to go after plumbers. I need to go after electricians. When you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. I want you to write that down. When you speak to everyone, you speak to no one, right? You might not be able to change everyone's world on this call today as customers, right? But you could change someone's world. You might not change everyone's world, but you could change someone, right? Jesus he left the 99 to go after the one, right? And if you would just go after the right niche, the right clientele, the people you would actually enjoy working with, right? That's where your messaging gets really clear. Okay? Let me give you an example here. I'm going to try to the best of my ability to get this going. Okay, I got it. So, how many of you remember COVID, right? We all remember COVID. The world was shut down and all this crazy stuff was happening. I thought it was the end of the world. I thought we were getting raptured, especially when me and Pastor Tony were, at the grocery store and people are walking around in hazmat suits with gas containers in their in their carts and taking everything, like raiding the whole store. And so I thought, like, man, that's it. It's over. And so while I was part of the church plant with Pastor Tony in early 2020, I remember in my free time, I would study business. Now, a lot of people, many times when I share my story, I can only go so deep. I could only share so many things because it's long, right? How many of you agree we all have, a long story? Like if we were to actually share what really happened, it would take weeks to convey it all, right? So, unfortunately, when I share my story, I don't always get to share everything. But one part of the story I want to share today going into this, remember, we're talking about messaging right now. And I'm trying to prove how powerful this is because I used to, when I tried starting businesses in the past, I thought everyone needed my product. I have to go after everyone. But then I realized the principle, like when you do go after everyone, you end up going after no one. But when you go after someone, right? And you get really good at speaking to that person, you end up finding your niche. And one of my mentors, he always said, the riches are in the niches. You have to carve a niche so tight only you fit into it. And the people you see like exploding in business, they get very clear on their messaging so that when you do see their ad, how many of you have ever saw ads where you're just scrolling past it, you're like, "Man, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that." But then you see the one ad that just stops you and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like I need this." I remember I always scroll past ads, but then there was this one ad and I got my Jeep Wrangler in February and there was this one ad where it was like this really cool video showing, how to essentially inflate your tire if you get a flat right away. It's like this portable inflator and you don't need to plug it in. Like the marketing was so good. It was sharing like how most people they have to plug it into their car, but this is portable. And I'm like, man, because when I go off-roading, I got to deflate my tire and then I got to inflate it. And if I plug the cord in, it's a whole thing. But when I saw that ad, I was like, man, I need that. So how many of you on here know what I'm talking about? Let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about here, right? You see ads, you're like, man, I don't want to see those, get them out of here. But then you see ads and you're like stuck, you're glued. Like, man, they're talking to me. They're following me around on the internet. Right? And some of you, yeah, and she falls for all the great advertising out there. Um, but the point I'm trying to get to here is that you gotta niche down to a point where your message really speaks to someone, especially like if you want to be in the coaching industry or you want to work like any client you want to work with service based, you gotta get your messaging honed in, right? And so, what I was gonna get to is two things. I wanted to share a story. So I started flipping products, making all of this money um, as I was traveling and preaching. Like I was making really good money on the side, flipping products. And so right before I was part of the church plant, I never get to share this story, but I want to. Um, I was making really good side income in ecom, like flipping stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Don't hit me up about the strategy because it stopped working after like a year. It's a whole nother story. Um, And I asked myself, I was like, man, this could change someone's life. Like if someone can make an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month, like that could really supplement someone's income. So I decided I want to create a course and sell it online, right? And so I created this course. I had like there was like three guys I knew from back in the day when I used to, do business and ecom that essentially they did affiliate marketing and built these email lists of people who always wanted to learn how to get into ecom. And so when I finished the course, I put together this 20-minute video breaking down how people can make money flipping products on Marketplace. And so I reached back out to these guys from back in the day. I didn't think they'd respond. I reached out to maybe 10 guys, three of them, took me up on it. And they said, "Hey, we could do a launch where we could launch your course to our email list." Okay. And, at the time, I didn't, excuse me, realize how much I could actually sold this for. So I was like, if I could just sell it for $100, that would be really cool, right? And so I said, you know what? I'll build out this website that has a timer. People have 3 days to purchase this, and then it's gone. They can't purchase it again, right? So we did this launch, and guys, in 3 days, I made $14,000 selling a $100 product. Now, I told the guys who promoted it I would pay them 50%. So, I profited at 5K off of it, or sorry, 14K. My profit was maybe 7,000. 3 days. Not bad, right? Not too shabby. So then I'm like, I was shocked. I didn't think that so many people are going to buy this thing. I didn't know 140 people are going to pull the trigger. I thought like, I'd maybe get like 20 sales max, maybe make a few grand. And so at that point, I'm like, man, everyone needs my product. Like everyone, like this is $1 million business. Like, and next thing you know, I start like launching these ads, had no idea what I was doing. And next thing you know, I blew through like 3 grand in advertising and I didn't land a single client, which left me confused because I'm like, man, I just made 14K off of this thing. Like, how come nobody's buying my product? And so I just kept trying to do all these different things, trying things out. Well, now I'm part of the church plant and I'm like, I'm still gonna learn. And then I realized something. I'm like, okay, there's really two ways to approach building this business, right? Way one, I keep trying to figure it out on my own, watch YouTube videos, read books, or B, I just find someone who already has a proven process and I could just implement it and get results. And so I decided to find a coach who's really good at marketing, pay them like multiple four figures to coach me on how to do it. And literally what I learned from them is you need to get your messaging dialed in and you need to pick a niche that you go after. And so I went from trying to go after everyone to just making that one tweak. And I did this 5 day online challenge where it was like, are you a Christian, you know, entrepreneur? You love the Lord, you want to make money, you want to fund the end time harvest, but everything you tried hasn't been working. I'm hosting a 5 day crush it with Facebook Marketplace challenge where I show people just like you how to make money selling products from anywhere in the world on Facebook Marketplace. So, guys, I dropped like just making that one tweak, going after people I actually wanted to work with, right? Going after people I actually wanted to work with. I made that tweak. I dropped 3,500 on ads on Facebook this time, and I made $32,000 in 5 days. Okay. And, then I scaled that process, crushed it, right? The reason I was able to crush it was because I got very clear on who I wanted to serve, right? Like even my detailing offer, we just had a record month last month, right? I've been running this offer 7 months now, and we've just been having record month after month after month. Why? Because technically what detailers are getting from me, any business could use it. Plumbers, electricians, carpenters, construction, nail salons, life coaches, fitness coaches, like it technically could work for any niche. However, if I try to market to everyone, I'm going to be competing against all these guys spending millions of dollars on ads, and it's not going to resonate with anyone. So when I get clear and you and people see an ad that says, "Are you a car detailer? You're really good at what you do. However, you just can't seem to scale past 10K a month because you're not packing out your calendar, blah, blah, blah." Right? Anyone who's not a car detailer is going to go past that ad, but anyone who is going to listen to it. Right? So it's like you gotta carve a niche and you gotta have the right messaging, okay? So one other thing I'll say on that, actually I'll say it in a minute. So part one of this is your messaging. What are you saying? And then we'll get into the next part, which is essentially the market, right? Like who are you speaking to? Who's your audience? Right? So I want to give you guys a formula that really helped me growing these businesses, okay? I call it the I help who get what result without pain point, even if common objection, okay? Let me see if I could share my screen and show this to you real quick. Okay, here we go. So if you guys want, you could screenshot this. I help who. Looks like my computer froze. Drenair, can you hear me? Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I help who get what result without pain point, even if common objection. Okay. This is how you could this is something you could build off. So let me give you some examples here. Let's say I had a pressure washing business, and this will all come full circle. It might sound a little bit confusing on the front end, but I promise as we get through today, you'll get some clarity around it. Okay. But let's say I had a pressure washing business, right? My statement could be we help busy homeowners, okay? Busy homeowners, okay? So that's very clear on who, right? Now, what result are we helping them get? Restoring their home's curb appeal, okay? That is the result, okay? Without pain point, the pain point is lifting a finger, right? Because a lot of homeowners are so busy, they don't really have time to do that stuff, right? Even if they've been burned by cheap contractors in the past, which is, a common objection some people may have. Let's do another one here. Okay. If you're an electrician, we help busy homeowners, again, that's the who, get safe, code compliant electrical repairs. Okay. That's the result without waiting days. Okay. Without waiting days, which would be painful, even if they've had no shows in the past. Okay. So then it just keeps going here, right? And all of these different examples. Let me give you one more. If you're a personal trainer, I help busy professionals lose 15 plus pounds and build muscle without spending hours in the gym, even if they've failed every diet before. That sounds really cool, right? And so let's see, my mouse disappeared on me. But those are just a few examples for you guys. Okay, there we go. It's back. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. So what you want is I want you to write this down because this is going to be part of your homework assignment. Who do you help? What result are you helping them achieve? And what pain are they avoiding, right? Because I always tell people run away from pain and they run towards pleasure. Okay. People run away from pain, they run towards pleasure. Okay. So those were a few examples there on that statement. Okay. Part two is market. Okay. Who are you talking to? This is very important, right? It goes back to the niche, right? Like who am I working with right now? My offer car detailers. Okay. Now, other people that come to me while I work with them, yes, but I'm going after car detailers because when I'm spending money on paid ads to scale this process, if I'm trying to go after everyone, I end up reaching no one. And that's how the world of marketing is. Okay. Um, I said this earlier, the riches are in the niches. How many of you have ever heard of Sally Beauty Supplies? Put put me in the chat. My mom used to shop there all the time as a hairdresser. Okay. Okay. Big company, right? In the beauty industry. Now, I was reading this marketing book and it was so powerful. It was going into like dream customers and picking your market, figuring out who you're talking to, right? And essentially, this marketer, he went to visit the headquarters of Sally Beauty Supplies and he was asking them like, how do you guys know what products to launch? What's your process look like? And they said, hey, let us introduce you to Sally. And he's like, who's Sally? Like, who's this person? So they take him down the hall, they take him into this room, and as he goes into this room, there's this whole wall with a picture of this person they called Sally, and it had everything to do with Sally, right? And essentially, anytime they're going to launch a product, they ask themselves, is this something Sally needs? Is this something Sally's looking for? Right? They built out their ideal customer. They asked themselves questions like, where does Sally live? Right? Where does she live? What type of lifestyle does she have? What does she value? What does she fear? What does she love? Because when you ask all of these questions, you get very clear on who you are trying to help with the problem you're solving for, right? So whether you're an electrician, right? Whether you're a plumber, whether you have a restaurant, right? It's like, what person are you going after, right? Is it busy moms? Is it busy professionals? And you could go super deep there. Okay. Um, so that's part two, right? You have to understand who are you talking to. For my detailing offer, I'm talking to car detailers who are doing anywhere from 3 to 7,000 a month with their business. That's it. That's who I'm talking to. What's keeping them up at night? They're wondering how they're going to get consistent customers. They're wondering why they're so good at what they do, but yet they can't replace their income from their job, right? They're wondering, flyers aren't working, knocking doors aren't working, relying on referrals aren't working, right? There's all these things every day their head hits the pillow. How can I pack out my calendar for next week? When they see my ad that says, "Are you a car detailer? You're stuck at 3 to 7K a month in your biz," or I think my ad's something like, "Are you a car detailer? You're really good at what you do. You do an incredible job on every vehicle you touch. However, you're stuck at 3 to 7K a month, and no matter what you've tried, right? What have they tried? Flyering, knocking doors, referrals. How do I know that? Because you don't have a predictable marketing system in place. You're going to be stuck at less than 10K a month all day long in your business, right? So I got very clear on my who, and then I had the right message for them. I knew what they're looking for. Most of these guys stuck at that level, they are looking for marketing. They're not looking on how to get better at sales. They're not looking on how to build a team because they can't even bag out their calendar. They're not looking at, how much they should charge for their services because they're so used to hearing no every single day when they knock the doors and hand out flyers, right? I know what they're looking for because I've studied this market. And now when I do my marketing, it hits home and I have probably 20 to 50 car detailers hit me up every single day on Instagram. Okay. Hit a record month last month again, right? Why? Because I know who I'm talking to and I'm talking to them with the right message. Okay. Number three is media. Okay. Number three is media. So once you have your message, you understand who you're talking to, who your ideal customer is. Now you need to be able to reach them, right? And that's where marketing experts will always ask questions. Where is your customer hanging out? Where are they going? Where are they congregating? Right? Where are they? Right? What platforms are they using? Okay. Where are they hanging out? Now, I want you to write this down. There's so many marketing channels, but because of technology and the world we live in, I want to give you the top two that I use and that. Can you guys hear me now? Is this helping you guys? Are you getting something out of this? Okay. And again, I already talked about this, previous KBF, but you actually have to have something great you're offering, right? Like these car detailers. I mean, let me share a story with you guys. I was like crying the other day, tears of joy, because one of my clients, he has a car detailing business. 4 months ago, he was working a job doing the car detailing business, couldn't crack past 3K a month. He said, dude, if you could get me to 6K a month, that would change my life. Married, has kids, and um he's like, dude, if you could get me to 6K a month, like I don't even care to get to 10K a month. Like just 6K a month would change our life. I'm like, bro, if you put in the work, you implement the systems, you'll get results, right? However, if you don't, then you won't get results. And so 3 months goes by. He worked his face off in a good way. He quit his job last Thursday, and he ended up finishing last month at close to 10K. Okay. Now, here's what's really cool. This month, 2 days into the month, he already has 10K with deposits for jobs on the calendar, right? Because of the right marketing in place. And there's some other things that go into it, right? And the reason I'm sharing that story with you is because what I'm about to share with you, I mean, it has the power to change the game for you. Okay. So there's three core marketing systems. Okay. The first one, I call it the Meta Growth Funnel. Okay. The second one, I call it the Google Growth Funnel. And then the third one is really a byproduct is setting those up right. Okay. And I call it the word of mouth uh, funnel. Okay. Now, let me just look at my notes here. I think I'm going to share my screen for this. So give me a second, guys. How many of you want to see some slides? All right, let's see if I can pull the right ones up here. All righty. All right. Give me a thumbs up, Drenair, when you can see my screen here. Okay. So the reality is many business owners are stuck at less than 3 to 10K a month. The reason why is because they focus on what I call organic marketing. And I'll get more into this in a moment, right? Organic marketing, right? That's essentially where you have to do things to get customers, right? You have to call friends, you have to call family members. I mean, any business, right? Like the business that normally calls friends and family. Let's see if you guys know what type of business that normally is. I want to pull up the chat. Let's see what you guys think. What business? Yup. And called it, right? Network marketers. They love to why? Because when they go to these meetings, they're like, invite a friend, invite a family member. That's the quickest person to get into this opportunity, right? Now, the problem that keeps most people stuck is they only rely on that, right? You will get customers and clients if you call your friends and family, but that only goes so long, right? Then other people, they spend time on Nancy said, what were the two marketing tools? We didn't hear it. So that's what I'm going over again now. So it will end up being repeated. So they're handing out flyers, they're handing out business cards, they're relying on word of mouth, they're spamming Facebook groups, they're posting on social media, hoping to go viral. How many of you guys have ever been there before? Where it's like you've done everything you could think of. You called friends, you emailed friends, you went to networking events, you passed out your business card. People said, yeah, I'll reach out to you tomorrow. You never heard back from them. How many of you have ever dealt with that? When I launched the detailing business, because I launched successful online businesses, I was like, I am not going to be the guy that hands out business cards, knocks doors. I'm going to build a system that does all the work for me. How many of you want to learn about that system today? The system where you set it up once and then you just keep optimizing it. Okay, so the solution is having a predictable marketing strategy that generates consistent customers and clients, right? And so the two of them that we're going to focus on is the Google Growth System and the Meta Growth System, okay? And this is going to have to be multiple parts, so we'll probably do a part 2 next KBF because there's no way I'm going to be able to get through all of this. But I'm going to give you a high level overview at least today. Now, when you set these things up correctly, I've seen people do anywhere from, like in local service-based businesses, anywhere from 10K to 50K a month. But I've also seen people get up to $600,000 a month. I've had over 30 clients implement some of these things you're about to learn today to literally make 6 figures per month. Okay. So, um, does anyone on here, I'm curious, do you understand the difference between Google and Facebook? Who on here understands the difference between Google and Facebook? Okay. Google is intent based. Okay. Meta, and when I say Meta, just know I'm talking about Facebook and Instagram. Meta is Meta is interest based. Okay. Google intent based, Meta interest based. What does that mean? What that means is anytime we go to Google, which 90% of people, I believe, worldwide use that as a search engine, right? If they're looking up anything, they're going to Google, right? Anytime you guys want to try a new restaurant, where do you go? Restaurants near me on Google, right? Anytime you're considering going to a nail salon, you're looking at the reviews on Google, right? And so people go to Google when they're looking for something, right? Oh no, the toilet's broken again. All right, honey, go on Google and type in plumbers near me, right? Or toilets broken, need fixed ASAP, right? There's all these keywords people search up every single day on Google looking for you. Now here's the sad news, right? Every day that goes by where you are not on Google, you are missing out on this low-hanging fruit that's already looking for what you offer. Okay? They're already searching for it. Okay? Now, like I said, Google is the number one search engine in the world. I mean, just look at that for a moment. 92% compared to Bing, Yahoo, and all the other ones, right? Google is number one. Okay. Now, when it comes to Google, there's really 5 things I focus on. Okay. 5 things I focus on. Um, Let me pull up my notes here. So, the first one is this. When it comes to Google, is you want to have a Google My Business, right? And you could literally use ChatGPT to help you set that up. But you want to Google My Business. Essentially, that's a place where you're able to do these, people could leave reviews, you could post updates, you could post pictures. And at the end of the day, Google My Business is your hub because if 92% of people are going to Google, then every day that goes by you're not there, it just doesn't make any logical sense, right? You need to Google My Business for any local service based business you have. You should be on Google. If you're not on Google, set up a Google My Business. Okay. Now secondly, you want to get reviews as quickly as possible because whatever niche you're in or whatever service you're offering, people are always looking at reviews. And the more reviews you have, the more people see you as like the trusted provider, right? If you only have 3 reviews, you've been in business 17 years, people are going to be like, let's see who else offers this service. They're going to go, most people are going to go with the guy with the most reviews, but then there's other people that are going to look at other things, right? At the end of the day, what I tell people is you want to get to 100 reviews as quickly as possible. Okay. Thirdly, is you could use an organic ranking strategy where every week you post what I call Google updates. And when you post these Google updates, what happens is people are able to see you more because you start ranking organically, right? You're posting these updates. When people look you in, like you just start to rank organically. Number 4, and again, we're going to have to do a part 2 on this, is having a highly converting landing page. Okay. Now, the reason you want a high converting landing page is because when someone sees our ad, we want to send them somewhere where they're going to take an action. Okay, at the end of the day, we want to collect their information. Why? Because if we could get them on a quick call, we could convert them into our service if you know how to, do sales in a simple way. Okay, and then number 5 is you launch what I call local search ads. So what that means is anytime someone types in, as an example, car detailing near me, I show up, right? Or mobile detailing near me. There's all of these keywords that people are searching every day. Google gives you a free tool to figure out what those are. It's called Keyword Planner, right? They might have changed the name. They're always changing names to stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's called Keyword Planner. But once you set these ads up right, what happens is people only see your ad when they're looking for you, right? So you do spend a little bit more money per conversion, but the lead's way higher quality because it's intent based. They're already going to buy what you're offering, right? It's just, are they going to go with you or are they going to go with the competition? All right. Is everyone following that on the Google side of things? Like these are the 5 things you would want to do there. Okay. Now let me illustrate it a little bit better here. So when you set up these local search ads, when someone sees the ad, what we want them to do is click the ad. Now there's really 2 things we're optimizing for here. Okay. We're optimizing for people to click the ad and call you for a free quote, or for them to go to the landing page. Okay. Now, for me, I've noticed it's kind of 50-50. 50% of the people will call right away, and then my detailer will pick up the phone and get them on the calendar. The other 50%, they go to the landing page, which is fully optimized to get them to leave a quote. Now, who wants to see my landing page? All right, let me show it to you. I wasn't planning on showing it, so that's why I got to pull it up. Okay. We are redesigning the landing page right now, so it kind of looks really bad as of the last week. So don't judge it. But here, let's see here. Let me see if I could show you. Okay. So here it says Towson's #1 mobile detailer. I'm trying to get them to call. I want people to call me, not me directly, my detailer when I say me. And the reason why is because if we could get them on a phone call before anyone else, like we will close 90% of the people we speak to, right? And I think we even went over that last KBF on how you could do market research, right? And then this form is get a free quote. What services are you interested in? And then, after we see what they're interested in, like we get all this information. My detailer is calling these people within 5 minutes. We want to get them on the phone, right? And some people, they don't want to go on the phone. That's why we have the landing page for people to request a free quote, because for those people, that's how we get their information, right? And then here I have like a lot of the stuff I have in here is SEO, like keywords, so that I'm ranking on Google, graphics, over 50 5-star reviews, about our services, check out previous work. And then like notice in so many different spots, I have call, right? Now, what's cool is I have tracking codes here that tells Google when someone calls so that they let me know the ad is working. But that's a whole nother lesson here, right? What did you guys think of that landing page? All right, let me share my screen again. All right. So again, we're setting up a local search ad. So when someone types in car detailer near me, mobile car detailing, best nail salon in town, whatever business you have, right? Normally I tell people to set it up on a $25 a day budget. Then we send them to a funnel or a call. Now, when they go to the funnel, what we do is they become a lead, right? They enter their information. Immediately, we're calling, we're texting, we're sending emails until they become a customer, right? A lot of companies will tell you the riches are in the follow-up. In fact, I was talking to JC today, who was on with us last week, and we were talking about today about how, most car detailers, when someone enters their information, they call and text one time and that's it, right? But you want to be continually on them because sometimes people need to hear and see things 7 times before they take an action, right? Like You look at some of the biggest sales companies in the world, like I opted into one dude's like funnel, and he's been texting and calling me for like the last 2 weeks. Why? Because he knows if he gets me on the phone, he's gonna have a high percentage on getting me to, take the action he wants me to take. Okay. Now, the second one is the Meta growth system. Remember, when I said Meta, I'm talking about Facebook and Instagram. Okay. Now, um, let's see here. Let me stop sharing my screen for a moment and see if I have a better slide that breaks this down. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. Um, Let me just explain it to you this way, right? When it comes to Meta, what I was trying to say earlier is it's interest based, meaning if you're looking for a service, you're not going to Facebook and Instagram. Okay, you're not going to Facebook and Instagram to look to get your car detailed. However, because you're on that platform, you could run ads based on certain interests that people have so that you could try and Facebook's technology has gotten so good to the point where, they're really good at finding people that would be interested in what you have to offer. However, in my opinion, the thing is this, with Google, there's only so many people looking for the service. However, because it's the number one platform, I mean, we're talking about just car detailing alone. People search that up thousands of times every single month just in Towson. Okay. So when it comes to Meta, though, it's like you could reach people whether they're looking for you or not, right? And that's a whole nother conversation. But what I've seen work best on Meta for service-based businesses is what I'm going to share with you today. Number one is when it comes to Instagram and Facebook, you want to have a bio. Like you guys could look at mine on Instagram, Travis Ventrella, and you could kind of see what my bio looks like. But you want to have a good bio so that when somebody does see your ad and they click on it and they go through your profile, that your bio has to be congruent with what type of ad you're running, right? So that people see that you're the go-to person for that particular service, right? Like when someone sees my bio, I want them to in seconds be able to see, okay, this guy helps car detailers, right? Or this guy, he helps busy professionals lose weight, right? So on and so forth. So number one, you need to have a really good bio that your ideal customer or client will see and be like, oh, he helps people do XYZ. Okay. Secondly, is having nurturing content. Okay. Nurturing content. What do you mean by that? Nurturing content, the whole goal of it is so that when people see your content on social media, really what we want to take place is we want them to like, know, and trust you, right? So many brands, they are losing. And the reason they're losing is because they're trying to show things people don't want to see, right? Like something that's become so popular in the last like 5 years, 6 years, however long, has been Reels. Like Reels are becoming more and more popular. Why? Because most of the people who are on these platforms, that's what they're doing. They're scrolling reels. They want to see content, right? And so you as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, if your ideal people are looking at reels, then you want reels that are ads, right? You want to use what people are using, right? And so what we want is we want nurturing content. Most business owners, they don't want to get on camera. Guys, how many of you on here have customers that have been with you for years? Okay. One person, two people, maybe a few more of you. Right? Like my mom, she built clientele as a hairdresser and they've stuck with her forever until she closed down her business. And then some of them begged, like, can you please do my hair? Why? Because she built a relationship with them, right? And nowadays, you could build a relationship with people through social media. And when I say a relationship, what I mean is where people feel like they like you, know you, trust you, right? By the time you get on a call, people are like, man, I see your ads all the time. Like, you really resonate with me. My husband and I were looking to get our deck painted, right? You have to, and most business owners are not doing this right now. And I think it's the best way is like capitalizing on, adding valuable reels to your social media and then talking, not being afraid to go on camera. Because if you're doing what everyone else does, keep in mind what everyone else does, most people fail. Why? Because they're not doing the right thing. So if you separate yourself from the pack and you start like getting on your phone and recording things like, hey guys, here's three things you need to do before you hire a painter for your next job. Number one, boom. Number two. And people see that, they're like, wow, that's kind of insightful, right? The reason we focus on nurturing content is because when we do run ads, most people, what do? When they see an ad, sometimes they're clicking on who's running this ad, what's their profile look like, what's on there. And if they see a bunch of videos of you being personal and relatable, they're going to want to do business with you, right? And that's what's, really crushing for a lot of clients, okay? So it's posting content that's valuable, it's posting content about your life. Like if you look at my Instagram, I mean, I'm posting content about life. Like Pastor Ellie's pregnant right now. Like I posted about it and people are like, wow, this is cool. Like, this client I enrolled the other day, he said, man, I saw your post and you seem like very personable and, you seem like you know what you're talking about. Like would love to hire you as a coach. Thank you. Appreciate it. Right. So the third thing is using stories, right? There's a feature on Instagram and Facebook where you could post stories that are up for 24 hours. And in those stories, you could post content about like, your day, and then essentially like any promos you're running for your business. Hey guys, for the next 3 days, I'm running a promo for anyone who chooses to get their nails done. It's only going to be 10% off, right? Like you could do call to actions through there. Um, the fourth part of it is having what I call a setting process. And this will all make sense in a moment. But when I refer to setting process is from the content, what we want to do is we want to have some content that has a CTA in it that's like a call to action. So going back to what I was saying before, let's say you filmed a piece of content on your phone, like, hey, before you get your deck painted, here's three things to consider. Boom, boom, boom. Also, if you're interested in getting a free quote on how much it would be to get your deck done right now, we're running a promo. Just send me the message on the Instagram promo, right? Next thing you know, all these people are seeing your content. Some of them are going through those videos and then they're sending you that keyword. And you could have a conversation with them in the DMs to try to get them on a quick call where you go through your sales process to convert them into a customer. All right. Now, the way we scale this process, I always tell people if you could get just one customer for anything doing this, then you could scale the process through running paid ads. Okay, so you can literally run ads on Instagram and get people to, a lot more people to go through your profile to get nurtured to end up becoming a customer. Okay, and then you launch retargeting ads, that optimize for people to send you a message. Okay. Now when it comes to these ads, like the way I run them is it's like, um, for the car detailing business, as an example, just to give you a few examples. First off, for the people who want to grow their detailing business, I have all my content, I have my bio optimized, and I'm literally saying, hey, are you a car detailer? You're really good at what you do. However, you just can't seem to scale past $3,000 a month. The reason why is because you're probably relying on things like handing out flyers, handing out business cards, knocking doors, and it's not a scalable approach to take to build your business. What you need to do is you need to run ads on Google where people are already searching for you. If you want to learn how to do this, follow me here on Instagram, go through my past content, and send me the word system, and I'll send you a free training I put together that shows you how this works. Right. And literally, that's my ad. Now, all these people are seeing my ad and they're going through my profile, they're going through my content. The moment they follow me or send me a message, I'm trying to book them in for a strategy call where I'm going to enroll them into my program. Okay. Now, for the car detailing business, it's a little different. It's like, I forget how I put this ad together, but it came out really good and it, got some ceramic coatings from it. But it's like, are you, uh, are you are you a car owner? Are you a new car owner here in Baltimore County? Then you're no stranger to how bad the roads are and how quick your car could get dirty, covered in tree sap, bird droppings, um, and bug splatters. The best thing you could do is get your car ceramic coated. Right now, we are running a special, where we're giving 10% off. Send me the word ceramic and I'll shoot you over the details. Next thing you know, all these people are following me on Instagram and they're sending me a message, getting them on a quick call with my detailer, and then booking them in for a ceramic coating. While we were running that, we were doing pretty good with it, right? But I wanted to focus on scaling my other businesses. So I'm not focused on scaling that right now. But what you could do is something along those lines, right? Like, let's say you have a nail salon. It could be like, you would want to have a really good hook that calls out your who, right? Calls out their pain points, what their desires are, and then give them a call to action, right? Are you XYZ? You're struggling with XYZ and you want XYZ result. If that's you, go ahead, follow me here on Instagram, and send me the word nails, and I'll send you over a free quote, or I'll send you over the details. Next thing you know, when you start running these ads, people are going through your content, they're getting nurtured, they feel like they like you, know you, trust you, they're choosing you over the competition, and then literally you just scale that process. All right. And so let me just check my slide deck and see if there's anything else I wanted to go over here. Okay, that's pretty much it. So what I want to do now, guys, is I'm going to do some Q&A. Did you guys get anything out of this? And then we'll do a part 2 next week. Any questions? If you have any questions, you could raise your hand. Happy you guys got something out of it. Kimberly, go ahead.
Hi, can I send you, I used some of the suggestions from a few webinars back about using the AI to help with different things, and I used it to create a landing page. Can I send you a link for mine and you kind of critique it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And
You
it's
can
niche.
send it to me on WhatsApp, or you could send it to Drenair and she could send it to me.
Okay, it's niche down because after talking to you guys about being in IT and also dealing with finance and things like that, I decided to niche it down. So I really agreed with what you were talking about earlier, and I'm specifically for the scaling process, I'm specifically focusing on people who are in the beauty industry or own beauty salons. I've been contacted by one organization to come in and talk to them about their finances and how to accurately um, do their money and make sure they have all the proper documentation for their income taxes and all of that. So that caused me to niche down to them and really hone in on some pain points. And so when I made my landing page, I made it with that in mind, and I did use Lovable. So thanks for that suggestion from a couple webinars back. And then
Oh yeah, that was with Justin. He went over that.
yes, and so I
Yeah,
used
so
it.
let's
Worked
do this.
great.
Kim, send me over that, and what I'll do is I'll look over it and I'll give you guys, or I'll give you some feedback on it.
Okay.
For sure. All
Okay.
right, let's do Roxanne. Hey Roxanne, we're trying to unmute you.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute too. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Everything is always so helpful. My question is about the ads. How do you know when you should start placing them and how much you should be spending?
Yep, great question. So I'll probably be going over that in part two. Because here's the thing, right? You could easily spend thousands of dollars on ads if you do it the wrong way, which, a lot of people do. But when it comes to ad budget, like if you're using Google, I recommend starting at like a $25 a day budget. And then if you're using Meta, I recommend starting, you could actually start lower because it's interest based. I mean, you could literally start on $10 a day.
And then
But when it
how
comes
would
to, yeah,
how would you get started on that? With how do you know how to place the ad?
yeah, so when it comes to launching the ad, there are a bunch of YouTube videos you could watch. It really depends. Like, what are you selling?
Health coaching services.
Okay. So what I would do is I would focus on Instagram. Like I've worked with a lot of like people in the health niche. I would focus on Instagram. Um, Posting content, having content on there, optimizing your bio, literally doing everything I just said. And
Okay.
then I would get very Roxanne, if I were you, I'd get very clear on your niche before you run ads, right?
Okay.
I would launch something like for you specifically. Now, let me just say this. If you have a local service-based business, like it's a little bit more complex. It's not as easy just because there's some other variables. But for Roxanne being in the coaching space specifically, what would make sense for you is what I'm about to tell you. You would want to do something where it's um, like come come up with the you help who achieve what through how without and
Hmm.
the objection thing that I broke down.
Yep.
But you want to get very clear on your who, and then I would do a follower ad. Like you launch a follower ad on Instagram, you could literally do a boost it post, but you'd want to do it through your desktop so that you don't have to pay Apple 30% of your ad spend.
Got it. Okay.
But you
Thank
can
you.
literally just do a boost it post in your case, and then you just got to be very clear. Like, are you XYZ looking to lose weight or whatever your
Mhm.
thing is, but you got to get very clear for it to hit right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Anne has one. Then we'll
Hi,
close.
real quick. I just had a question about the Google like location, for the page landing and versus if you're trying to like if I put on my address for my business, it's that's not really where I'm getting people because I'm doing most of my stuff online. So sometimes those parameters are they're not accurate. Like I don't have a storefront per se. So how do you compensate the like you're trying to reach international client
Yeah, I
to
it's a
local?
great question. First off, great question. If what you're offering is worldwide, the
Yeah.
way to approach it is you could actually have a Google My Business that doesn't have an address. Okay. However, based on my research, what I think would work great is you should make it local, right? Now, if you don't want to put your home address, then just do it without an address. Like for me, I use, the place that I live at, right? Because it's got a corporate address. And what the reason I like to do that is because I want to rank in this area because there are a lot of people who would be interested in what I have to offer, but also people who search me up would see it as well. If that makes any sense. So it's like you have a local presence, but also and for the business you have, though, you would definitely want to primarily focus, like even Roxanne, like you guys would want to focus on, social media for sure. That's how you would scale your process. But I still, it wouldn't hurt to have a Google My Business. You could have clients leave reviews there and some other things. So,
because sometimes what'll happen is like in the networking fields of like life coaches, health coaches, etc., fitness trainers, you're in
This
that
is
niche.
Mountain Spring Valley water, by the way. I know it's in a green bottle.
But like you might be on a certain platform where people congregate in that area, kind of like Psychology Today for therapists, for example. But if you're putting your ad in, a lot of times they'll say, "Where are you located?" And I've done that before, where I'll pay like $500 a year for this particular venue, and then even though I've said I only want to be listed as USA, they'll put me in as Baltimore, Maryland, and it just
This is on Google.
No. These are like in other portals and platforms, like specifically for coaches and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I'm curious because, like I said, I've already
I mean,
had.
all you would really like, you have tons of customers you could get if you just focused on Instagram
Okay.
for your business. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't even worry. Here's the thing, guys, like there's so many places. I mean, if you want me to go deep, I could have went through like running all like banner ads. Like there's some really cool stuff you could do. I don't focus on it just because of how popular things like Google and Meta is. Like there's more than enough people to reach on those platforms. Um, Darren, let's take you and then we'll wrap it up, guys.
Hello,
You
thank you. It's actually
understand
Hope.
what the boost, okay, Nancy put this, need to understand what the boost it ads are and does for you. Probably do that in part two, Nancy, so I won't answer it there. This was more foundational. But yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. It's actually Hope. We're both sitting here
Hey,
together.
Hope.
Hey, thank you so much. The question that I had, so I actually have been promoting a Bible study and it's, to grow the ministry and I have a book and those sorts of things to grow in sales and that kind of thing. But is there a software that you recommend where you can load a large video and it'll pull, snippets, shorts, that kind of thing, like you're saying, to throw on Instagram and that kind of thing?
Yeah, there are AI softwares. I can't think of one specifically, but my little brother knows which ones they are. So if you would get with Ryan
Okay.
Ventrella on Wednesday or Sunday, he
Okay.
could really point you in the right direction because that's his department. That's literally all he does.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, you could tell them what you were looking at.
Oh, that's Darren again. I could hear you guys, I think.
Oh, you can hear us. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Tell them what you were looking at.
Oh yeah, so I've been playing around with Veed, and like CapCut and different things like that, but I will check with Ryan for sure on Wednesday. Sorry.
Cool. We'll love you guys. And yeah, check with Ryan. He should be able to point you in the right direction there for sure. Cool. All right, guys. Great KBF meeting. Love and appreciate you. Did you guys get value out of today? Let me know in the chat. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. So if you're not yet in the WhatsApp, that's where we're communicating with everyone. So Drenair, can you post a link to the WhatsApp? So if you guys are not in the WhatsApp group yet, like please get in the WhatsApp group. Like that's where I'm going to send resources. That's where I'm going to send the recording. Like when this is uploaded either today or tomorrow, I will send the replay in the group so you could go over this. But this is definitely a foundational video when it comes to marketing. So definitely, go back and watch it and take some notes and try to implement what you can. If I could give you guys an assignment while Drenair is grabbing that WhatsApp link, it would be to number one, put together your statement and then ask yourself, who do you want to reach? What's your message to that group of people? And then how are you going to get attention? Are you going to do it on Instagram? Are you going to do it on Facebook? Are you going to do it on Google? How are you going to get attention? All right. So that's your homework assignment. Drenair, she just put the link to the WhatsApp in the chat. So definitely join this if you guys have not yet already. And yeah, with that being said, I'll pray us out. Father, I thank you for this call for KBF. I thank you, Lord, that we would implement what we learned today. Lord, I thank you that you would help us crush it in our businesses, help us crush it in our field, and help us make maximum impact in this last hour of time. In Jesus' name, amen. Love y'all. Thanks again for hopping on. Don't forget, we're